it's appropriate to keep the 710 tunnel on the 2017 LRTP because of the pure legislation. And in 2011, your lawyers represented to the Court of Appeal of the state of California that there was absolutely no compulsion for this board to keep the 710 tunnel alive. And that case resulted in a judicial decision. They essentially held that way. And there's a doctrine of judicial estoppel when your lawyers say something you really can't change on that. So there's hopefully we will kill the 710 tunnel sometime soon, and I hope that happens soon. Thank you.
Wayne Spindler.
Good morning, Mike Mathis. I'm a resident of the city of Pasadena. I urge the board to oppose the 710 tunnel and to consider the many alternatives that are available at a price and a cost that would be much less than the $5.6 to $6 billion that the tunnels will cost. Earlier today, one of the public speakers mentioned that only minorities are riding buses and rail. I arrived this morning on time, I'd like to report, thanks to the Gold Line. I'm a recent graduate of the culinary program at Los Angeles Trade and Technical College and rode for 2 years, rode every day the Gold Line, the Red Line, and the Blue Line class. I was late only once, and that was when there was a horrific wind and rainstorm the night before, which caused a tree to cross over one of the lines of the Gold Line. It's a great system. I urge you to further build the Gold Line as an alternative.
Hi, my name is Jan Sue. I'm from the city of Walking out of Flemish. I'm here today representing the No710 Action Committee. I was unable to attend the last board meeting, but I did listen to the audio, which I think, by the way, is a great service to those of us who can't make it to every meeting. In particular, I noticed that Director Fasana made some comments about some groups coming to him or the board and stating that they won't support Measure R2 if particular projects are removed, and others saying they won't support it if certain projects are included. The key here is the word they won't support. I'm here today to remind this board of directors of our October 22nd letter to you, in which we said that we will not only not support, but actively work against Measure R2 should the SR 710 tunnels remain in Measure R2, explicitly or implicitly. We're prepared to mobilize all of the forces that are available to us. It's up to you, as a board, to determine whether we'll mobilize them in support of Measure R2 or against Measure R2. Thank you.
My name is Tina Miller from Los Angeles, and my comment concerns the proposed option to build the tunnel for the expansion of the SR 710. I'm asking that the option be removed from the ballot Measure R2, and that the language and for any loopholes pertaining to fund an option to build the tunnel. My husband is well known in the social media industry and has led national campaigns on many issues. We assisted in the effort to defeat Measure J, and we intend to do so again. We ask that you remove the language and any loopholes to build the tunnel. We will work with other coalitions across LA County to defeat Measure R2.
Thank you. Raymond Kwan, followed by Nancy Vendenhout.
I would like to point out and support Dr. Najarian, who said trust. The big word is trust. If I'm a voter and I'm faced with a ballot that says I have to pay additional sales tax to support the 710 tunnel, which hopefully will not be in the R2, I'm going to have to think, am I going to vote in my pocketbook and keep that money and go no? Or am I going to vote to support transit because I think it's good for the public good? And I will not vote. I will get rid of that discomfort of holding on to my money, because if I think that Metro cannot be trusted, as an example, the 710 tunnel, a very expensive boondoggles then it makes me feel comfortable to vote against it, and I won't feel guilty. So I suggest that the sharp opponents of 710, against the 710 tunnel, will amass their forces against it. I really don't think that's a good idea, based on trust. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Vandenhout, followed by John Lynch.
My name is Nancy Vandenhout. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am a member of the NO710 Action Committee. The proposed tunnel has made the national list of highway boondoggles. LA Metro is considering prioritizing the most expensive, most polluting, and least effective option for addressing the area's transportation problems. If you do not take the 710 tunnel out of Measure R2, I will actively campaign against Measure R. Thank you.
Johnson, Highland Park, Los Angeles. Good morning, board members. I was at the Metro meeting last month. At the beginning of the meeting, Mr. Ridley Thomas held a moment of silence for those killed and injured in the San Bernardino shooting, which is a very fresh wound we are all trying to sadly reconcile. This act of domestic terrorism made me wonder about the devastating consequences we would encounter if there was a terrorist incident within the confines of the 4.5-mile, no-exit 710 toll tunnel. I'm concerned that the tunnel could be a viable target for terrorist acts. Let's face facts. Our world is changing. It's indisputable. People who wish us harm now walk among us. The 26,652-page DEIR never explored this. I guess we couldn't imagine we would ever need to. Now I think it's a moral imperative. Thank you.
John Chan, followed by Barbara Messina, followed by Dr. Williams.
My name is John Chan. I'm a resident of Pasadena, a member of the 7,000 Household West Pasadena Residents Association, and a co-founder of an initiative called Connecting Pasadena. I'm a card-carrying fan of Metro, but the tunnel project is simply wrong. I cannot overstate the level of animosity towards tunnel project in my city. It is inconceivable to me that any future measure that includes any funding for a tunnel will get any support. The feelings against the tunnel are strong, and strong feelings tend to vote. For the past 2 years, the residents of Pasadena have been working on an alternative plan for the North Stub through the Connecting Pasadena project. The plan includes potentially 2.5 million square feet of commercial and retail space and up to 1,000 residential units, and the plan will calm traffic. The plan was included in the recommendations made by the working group appointed by the mayor and tasked with studying the North Stub. These recommendations are now the city's preferred alternative. Connecting Pasadena's plan provides better short and long-term economic and employment benefit both locally and regionally. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara Messina, followed by Dr. William Sherman, followed by Joanne Numbers.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Barbara Messina. I'm Vice Mayor of the City of Alhambra and Vice Chair of SCAG's Transportation Committee. I thank you for passing SCAG's RTP. It is truly a regional solution to the region's problems. On behalf of SCAG and all of the members of the Transportation Committee, plus the Regional Council, who voted to support all of this. I wasn't going to address the tunnel, but since it's become an issue, I would just like to keep in mind that the vocal minority is not representative of the broader community. Our communities where we live and raise family is plagued by poor air quality. The communities we represent near and around the 710 freeway have a cancer risk 20 to 100% greater than our neighbors to the north. It is an environmental injustice. It's getting worse, and we need your help. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Bill Sherman, NO710 Action Committee. I'm not satisfied with Grant Marsetti's position being, quote, religiously agnostic on the SR7 tunnel being funded by Measure R2, or whatever you're going to call it in the future. The language of item 30 as presented at the October 22nd meeting is vague and deceptive. There are loopholes big enough to drive a truck through. The SR 710 remains a viable alternative that can still be funded by Measure R2. There are 215,000 registered voters. I would call them a majority, not a vocal majority, not a vocal minority, who live in the five-city alliance of Sierra Madre, Pasadena, Glendale, La Cañada, Flint Ridge, and South Pasadena. And these people oppose this tunnel boondoggle. I will strongly and actively oppose Measure R2 unless the board removes once and for all any possibility of the tunnel being built. A broad coalition defeated Measure R2, this coalition still exists. We still have our signs for No on J on Measure J, and we'll bring these back, say Measure R2.
Thank you. Brian Knuckles, followed by Joe Connell, followed by Don Justin Jones.
Thank you. My name is Joanne Knuckles. I'm a resident of South Pasadena and a member of the NO710 Action Committee. The SR 710 tunnel alternative is about as far away from shovel-ready as you can get. It simply can never be built. The formal opposition of the three principal corridor cities, Pasadena, South Pasadena, and Los Angeles, preclude lawful construction of the tunnels. The EIR and many authoritative comments provide sufficient findings to take the tunnel option off the table. In particular, the AQMD and the US EPA declared the tunnels a public health risk, with the EPA expressly identifying the risk of air quality nonconformity. Remove the tunnel alternative only needs an action by the majority of the board. With a majority vote, the board can study the non-highway alternatives developed by and for the communities in the 710 corridor and free up the remaining $730 million in Measure R funds. Thank you.
Joe Connell, followed by Don Justin Jones, followed by Sylvia Plummer, and our last speaker is Charles Fuller.
Thank you, Board, for allowing me to speak. I see that the main conspirator of the pro-tunnel forces just spoke a little while ago. We've been accused of being a vocal minority, but if you look at the anti-tunnel petition online, we are talking about 4,000 signatures. Councilman Weezer won an election against Laura Molina overwhelmingly by including his opposition to the tunnel. This board needs to take into consideration the majority of the public does not stand for this tunnel. What you have, the people proposing this tunnel are nothing more than a consultant-run operation. And that consultant-run operation happens to have some kind of relation to one of your board members, okay? So you need to take the public's concern to heart and not listen to the small vocal minority of pro-tunnel proponents.
Don Justin Jones, Sylvia Plummer, and then Charles Fuller.
My name is Sylvia Plummer, and I live in Pasadena. I'm going to talk about Measure R2 and the 710 tunnel. I'm aware that Measure R2 does not list the 710 tunnel as a project that will be funded. However, the draft language for Measure R2 includes a loophole that can fund the 710 tunnel. For that reason, I will campaign against Measure R2 unless you, the Metro Board, remove the 710 tunnel alternative from any further consideration. The ball is in your court.
I want to note at this point that there is not draft language. There certainly will be. At this point, it doesn't exist. So,
There is.
Don Justin Jones.
There is.
Measure 30, October 22nd.
Please continue.
Can I start at 1 minute again?
Yes, we'll give you the minute.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm Don Justin Jones. I'm a graduate of Loyola Law School, a member of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and won the Nobel Prize.
I'm here to tell you that we will campaign against this Measure R2, as we did in the past against Measure J on the issue of trust. I spoke in Crenshaw, Beverly Hills, on the radio, was instrumental in the defeat of the past attempt to raise funds for these spurious projects like the tunnel. September, the governor met with the high-level Chinese leaders, including the mayor of Beijing, and they promised to work on climate change. Later on, it was revealed that the mayor's port authority had a secret deal with the Chinese industry to avoid the emissions reductions. It's this kind of dead cat balance that we oppose. It's this kind of infringement on our trust. It's this kind of political
Nonsense.
Bullshit.
710 EIR is a political tool, not a scientific one. It's for that purpose. Excuse me, sir. Can I have your attention?
Your time is up. Your time is up. I gave you some extra seconds. You had close to your minute.